Hello everyone, this Steam NextFest is here once again, which means we get to play a lot of demos for upcoming games. This time around there were quite a few survival games participating in the event. Out of the over 2,000 games that had a demo available during the Steam NextFest, over 250 of those were tagged as survival. Now with the way that Steam tagging system works, this could mean anything from like a vampire survivor game to horror survival to the actual survival I want to play. So I spent a little while skimming through the entire list, checking out anything that seems either not worth my time or isn't actually the survival I'm looking for, and it led me with a list of about 20 games. I created a Steam list of the must-play games if you're interested. This goes through the more interesting games to the very fun and good games, but surely some that you want to check out before the event is over. And so today I'm here to talk about my 5 favorite of the bunch, in no particular order, except for the last one, which will be my favorite of the entire event. So, let's get started. So let's start off the list with something you probably expected, Astrobotanica. This is a chill survival game set in the prehistoric times on Earth, where you play a blue three-fingered alien who is also a botanist as a job. In the demo you explore a small part of the island. You solve various puzzles, you farm plants, create potions, and then you can use those potions in order to cure the one NPC that is there. The demo shows a lot of promise of what the game will entail. Survival is surely taking a backseat on this one, instead focusing on specifically the farming and potion aspect of the game, which I think could be kind of interesting. It has a beautiful art style, which is one that I don't think is ever really gonna age. It controls pretty well. But my one main complaint is that it's kind of hard to figure out what you're doing or what you're supposed to do. Now my thought process here is that this is because during the demo they want to show off as much as they can in a short amount of time, so they probably skipped a bunch of quests that will teach you about things. But in the process, you also just wander around a lot aimlessly, which is why it's kind of lower down on my list, but I think it's still a pretty good game. And if you got about an hour of time, be sure to check it out. Up next, we're taking a trip to Mars. So for added context, I do not watch a lot of movies. However, one of my favorite movies is The Martian. And in this movie, you follow a dude as he tries to survive on the Red Planet. He was part of a group of people tasked with setting up the basics to colonize Mars. However, something went wrong and he got stranded on his own. And then the movie follows him as he struggles to survive while setting up farms, hatching a makeshift base, and trying to set up communications with Earth in hope that he can get rescued. The game, 687 Days on Mars, is kinda similar to that, where you play a dude who's part of a group of people getting ready to colonize Mars. However, before you got there, something went wrong on the main ship, and you were the only sole survivor who got shot towards the planet. Now luckily for you, humans already sent a bunch of supplies over so that they can actually do this colonization job. So you have to go out and gather all those supplies while setting up a base and trying to repair some stuff like radars so you can communicate with Earth. This is a very short demo and really just shows off the very basic concept. It really seems like it's going less on survival, it being merely a theme, but it will focus more on the story, as towards the end of the demo it ends on a cliffhanger where when you fix the radar, it picks up the mysterious signal and you're supposed to be the only person on the planet. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes, so it's pretty short, but I will say it really comes close to that movie feel, so I highly recommend if you're interested in that. And I'll definitely be putting this on my wishlist. So we're going from being stranded on one planet straight to another. This signal stranded on Serenis. It's a survival game where, well, you are stranded on the planet Serenis. This game has a beautiful art style, and if you look in the distance, it almost looks like you're looking at a painting. Besides the visuals, there's also a lot going on in this game. You have a voice in your head who's trying to help you find your brother, which apparently we lost. Serenis is home to a colony of angry bugs, as well as angry robots that for some reason still want to make a house. It looks really interesting. It has portals as well, so you can go to different bits of the planet, which it seems like it will play around with as sort of like dungeons. It has base building as well. However, this is probably one of the games that I played the least, just due to the fact that I had to go through so many of the games, and there is quite a lot of content to it still, so I'll definitely be going back to this later in the week. It does seem to take a little bit of time to get stuff going in this game, as you need research points in order to unlock more stuff for your base. You can get research points by, well, putting stuff into the research table. However, this can take a couple minutes or just a couple of points. You kind of need a lot, so that's why I haven't played it as much, but from the little bit that I did play, I already enjoy it a lot. Also, the soundtrack is amazing. Take a listen to this. Then going straight from autumn to winter, in Angst, a tale of survival. Besides being stuck in a frozen forest, the main threat in this game isn't the enemies that are out there and the dark beings that do something here. There's something mysterious going on for sure. But no, staying well fed as well as having a high enough temperature as well as energy, they really become a problem once you let one or two of them go all the way down. You have to stay on top of that while progressing a story of sorts. And the bars go down in such a rate that it is kind of difficult to stay alive, but my god is it a lot of fun. Even though it can be kinda stressful. You slowly open up more of the world by repairing bridges, progressing the story, and compared to all the other ones on the list so far, this one really gives you that eerie feeling at times, while at other times it is really cozy when you're just chilling at the base. So I highly recommend this one. Then for my number one pick, my favorite one of the Steam NextFest of October 2025, we go back to Mars. Blind Descent, my favorite one by far. This is a game that I played the playtest for a while back, which I guess kinda lucky because it means I didn't really have to spend all that time playing it this time around, even though I kinda really want to, because it's a really nice, pretty polished game at that. It has a couple hours worth of gameplay. It kinda plays similar to Green Hell in a way, if you ever played that game, but you're part of a corporation, and that corporation found a large crater at the center of Mars. So you take an elevator that goes all the way down, something happened and the elevator crashes, and now you're stranded down below. And it turns out, this is an entire jungle down here. It isn't just some random cave. And luckily you did come prepared with a scanner that can tell you what is edible and what isn't, so you can survive off the plants that are there as well as the animals. There's trees so you can build a basic shelter. There's enough stuff around so you can craft tools and weapons to keep yourself alive, as there's also a lot of hostiles around here. But the farther you get into the game, the weirder it seems to get. There is something weird with this ecosystem, to where it seems to auto-repair itself. And then when you follow the story, you get to this weird alien facility. But I won't be spoiling anything about that, as that is kind of the climax to the entire demo. But if you do enjoy games like Green Hell or The Forest, I highly recommend Blind Descent. And those were 5 of my favorite demos that you could play during the Steam NextFest. As I said earlier in the video, I created a list and I posted that on Steam. A link will be in the description as well as in the comments, so you can check out even more game demos. With that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.